what even is borderline personality disorder? Do you think you are dating or married to someone who is a borderline? Does she display any of the traits I'm gonna share in this video? Mwah! The good thing for you is I'm going to give you some insider information on borderline personality disorder. So it's your lucky day because you don't have to have any attachment to me and you get to see how my brain works as someone with BPD. So these traits may not actually be in the textbooks, but they are real life experiences that I've had. This video is in no way comprehensive in a way to actually diagnose someone. So if you do think your partner does display some of these traits, then seek professional help if needed. Now, I created this channel because I personally know how much chaos a borderline can bring to your life. And after a relationship with a borderline, you will never be the same again. I noticed that there is not very many resources available to men or women for that matter about borderline personality disorder. I know and can share with you about it, not because I sat in a classroom and I read a book and took tests over it, but because I experienced it. And I believe that experience teaches you way more than any book can. So, does your girlfriend display any of these traits? The number one thing you find when researching anything about borderline personality disorder is that there is an overwhelming fear of abandonment within that person. Now, in the beginning of the relationship, the borderline will be fixed on you and focused on you. It's almost like she has blinders on. She will be so hyper attuned to the things you say, the way you act, the things that you like. And borderlines can pick up on all kinds of information about you just by observing and having conversations with you. It kind of reminds me of the shopper cards at the grocery stores. They know everything about you, right? They know your likes, your dislikes, your habits. And if you ever notice the coupons that print when you get your receipt, they are custom to you and your likes. They don't print off willy-nilly coupons anymore. The company tracked you and your behavior and they knew what you would prefer, and then they gave you a reward so that you will come back. And that is no different than a borderline. At first, she doesn't have any information on you, but the more you shop at her store and spend time with her, the more she reads you and knows what works to keep you coming back. And that's not to be hating on borderlines, because I am one. It's actually kind of sad because the only reason she's actually starting a relationship out like this is because she wants to be so perfect for you that you will never leave her. But she can never maintain being someone she isn't. So once she thinks she has bonded to you and you are now emotionally involved, she kind of starts feeling safe. It's like when you take your bra off when you get home at night. Once you get comfortable and in a place where you can just relax and be you, the authentic you just relax. So now you're emotionally involved and invested in this relationship, and now she feels comfortable to be herself, which is not the woman you met or fell in love with. So now you're just left with either having to adapt to her ever-changing self or leave. And that leads me into my second trait she may display, which is identity disturbance. She is ever-changing and very inconsistent in life, okay? 1 minute she may be very social and love going out, and the next minute she never wants to leave the house. One day she may be obsessed with you and always texting, and then one day she may be MIA. She may be totally convinced that this career is for her, and then a few months later completely want to switch to something else. She may want to go everywhere with you and do everything that you do, and then one day she just wants to be left alone. I could honestly list a million of these examples. I could go on, but you can never really put your finger on who she is or what she's about, because she doesn't even know who she is or what she's about. I suffered from this because as a child, I didn't really have a say-so in who I was. I was who my parents wanted me to be. So I learned at a very young age to be adaptable and flexible in order to be loved. I had to do what my parents wanted me to do, achieve what my parents wanted me to achieve, and cause no problems for them. And I carried that right into adulthood to get loved. I had to be adaptable and flexible with the likes, dislikes, and hobbies of my partner. And my whole life, I have just been adapting to what others wanted me to be. I never felt like I could be loved for who I am because I didn't even know who I was. Now, I think men are natural fixers and solution finders. And at the end of the day, they just want peace and everyone to be happy. And that's what makes these relationships so hard because you cannot fix her. She has to fix herself. Now, another trait your girlfriend or wife may display is having a series of unstable relationships. Now, you may or may not know the truth about her past, so you may not know if this one's true or not. However, and that is a very big however, look at your relationship with her right now. Look at your own relationship with her. She's not as old as she is right now and not in a stable relationship for no reason. Now, sometimes I get a little blunt on here, but the truth is the truth. There's a lot of chaos in her relationships. But here's the fun fact. Borderlines love chaotic relationships because it makes them feel. They love, love, love when a big display is done to prove you love them. I know I did. I'll actually never forget my boyfriend and I don't know, I want to say a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month, who knows how long it was. Anyways, we went through this spurt where everything was perfect, okay? We both had a positive mindset. We were building each other up. We didn't argue. We got along great. We spent time together. It just was perfect. There was unicorns and bunnies and glitter. And I remember it driving me absolutely nuts. I was so bored. I would literally start arguments out of boredom. And relationships are like pendulums to a borderline. They swing from one extreme to the other, sometimes all within the same day. So to the outside world, BPD relationships look toxic AF. But to a BPD, unstable relationships are the best at providing the fuel to let us feel as though we are not going to be abandoned. Like, I locked you out of the house because you were being super annoying, and now you're crawling through my window because we need to talk about this. A healthy relationship would have someone leaving, giving time for everyone to cool off, coming back together, discussing it and finding a solution. But to a BPD, that has abandonment written all over it, the fact that the person has to leave. So to have a person come through your window after you lock them out is the ultimate validation, because that means that this person will move mountains to not leave you. It's a cycle that is looped and very hard to get out of. Now, this trait goes hand in hand with unstable relationships, and that trait is impulsivity. Do you ever truly know how your day is going to go with your girlfriend or wife? Do you even know if you will have a girlfriend in a month? It's hard for you to plan things because you never know how she's going to feel or what she's going to be doing on any given day. She's impulsive. Now, this may not be all of the time. I myself am a pretty routine person. However, I do like making abrupt changes without telling anyone at any given notice. It's like I just totally turn the ship around at the snap of a finger. So you may find that your girlfriend will be good for a week, a month, maybe even a couple months. And then she randomly dyes her hair or changes her name or books a trip or starts an epic fight, or maybe she's buying random things, or she makes a dramatic change in her life. Like maybe she picks a different religion, or if you break up or separate, you may find that she randomly hooks up with people. She doesn't plan these things out months in advance. Usually there is some external factor dictating her behavior, like, oh, we're separated, I'll go get with this man to get back at you. Oh, you left me, I'll show you, I'll go dye my hair and glow up. Okay, actually, I lied in the first part of this video. Borderlines are consistent people. They are consistent at allowing outside forces to dictate their emotions. Now, borderlines do these radical things because it gets you out of a hurt and abandoned mood quick, okay? Borderlines do not like sitting in those feelings of abandonment, rejection, and hurt. It is far too hard to face. Now, the reality is they don't believe that they're strong enough to overcome it. So the shock value allows them to get attention. So then they're validated. Therefore, they're not rejected or abandoned. And you can just see how the loop goes. Now, the next trait is your girlfriend may have moods that fluctuate often, because how she feels on the inside is usually based on what is happening on the outside. So this is an example. Let's say she texted you, "I love you." She would be in a happy, loving mood. And then let's say you're at a red light and you read the text, but the light turns green and you don't reply back immediately. She may experience feelings of mistrust, anger, frustration, hatred, disgust, sadness. I mean, there's all kinds of emotions that can come up. But let's say you text her back in 2 minutes, okay? She may shift right to a happy mood again. You see how the external force determines her mood? It's kind of like walking on eggshells, because any outside force could trigger her at any time. So you're always on alert. And that is exhausting. But you know what else it is? It's very addicting, because when she loves you, it is the highest of the highs, and you love everything about her. It's a love that you cannot even describe. But when she hates you, it's the lowest of the lows, and you want to help, but you feel helpless. You feel helpless because if your girlfriend has borderline personality disorder, then her victim mindset is strong, which does make sense if you think about it, because outside forces affect borderlines and they allow it to affect them. But from their point of view, it's the other thing that made them react the way that they did. So it's the other thing's fault. They always seem to react instead of respond. So does that sound familiar? Do you feel like things are always your fault in the relationship? For example, she may be open about her past, and she may even tell you she's a borderline. So let's say you do something and she is triggered and she reacts by keying your card because she was just so overwhelmed with so much emotion. She will never think that keying your card was not justified. You hurt her. You triggered her. It's your fault. If you would have never triggered her, she would have never keyed your car. So the last trait your girlfriend may have is actually being remorseful after an episode. Now, this may not be the case for every episode, but as a borderline, I felt like I couldn't control my emotions. I mean, in reality, I could, but at the time, I had no idea how to control them. It's like my emotions would hit me before my brain even started thinking, and they would hit fast. And there was nothing I could do to slow it down. I didn't always want to be like this. I mean, I wanted to have stable relationships and I wanted to talk things out. But dude, when you're triggered, you go from 0 to 100 faster than any car manufacturer today. So you may notice this in your girlfriend, because I'm telling you, it's fast, it's overwhelming, and it feels uncontrollable. And you don't always want to react the way you do, or say the things you say, or do the things you do. And that's tough to live with after you've done it. So yes, sometimes borderlines are truly remorseful. It doesn't mean it won't happen again, because again, they feel like it's uncontrollable. But that doesn't mean they don't feel bad about it afterwards. So let's have an open discussion about this video. Are you dating someone you believe has symptoms of BPD? Let me know in the comments. Are y'all still together, or are you currently separated? Is y'all's relationship on again, off again? What is your story? I love hearing about everyone's experience with borderlines. So in my next video, we will talk about what it's actually like to date a borderline. So join me to see if you resonate with how it feels. Again, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah!